Thank you for joining me. It's a very grey day, but I've got in the car and come to Tatton Hall, a place that I've visited many times over the past years, as well as having been here as a child. I love wandering around, and I've wandered around with many different friends, so I'm now taking you round as my friends. And we're not far from Manchester Airport, so you'll hear the big birds flying overhead as well as the little ones twittering. But the cloud is very low that I doubt we'll be actually seeing many of those big metal birds. So this is all part of the food gardens that would be an essential part, an essential element of the mansion. There are presumably south-facing greenhouses against the walls for protection. Sad to see, but obviously necessary. Where the glass is being replaced, it's being replaced by polycarbonate sheeting. A sign of the times. But these pollarded trees and the orchard just beyond, they would provide the house with the apples, the pears, and some along here as well, pollarded against the walls. I did try pollarding myself once and failed dismally, I'm afraid. But they are able to crop without taking up too much space, which is a plus. But I'm just going to move on through now to the rest of the fruit and veg garden. Be with you in a mo. Through into the walled garden now, and another row of greenhouses with the chimney pots at the top, a signal that they would be heated. So presumably these would have such luxuries as peaches, ooh yes, nectarines, whatever. The rest of the garden, it's still sleeping. The cloches are there, ready to take whatever crops come their way. There are strawberry beds. And it won't be too long before we're seeing the fruits there. She says, hopefully. An interesting looking scarecrow there. Bless his cotton socks. But this must take a heck of a lot of work. I'm just looking here. There seem to be, those look like broad beans that have survived but surrounded by grass. They're being investigated by a crow that is obviously absolutely petrified of that scarecrow. There's been lots and lots of manure to be dug into the beds so that the cropping is a good rich one. And the vegetables that they grow here, you can buy them in the shop. Not that I ever have. but the soil looks wonderfully rich from the many, many hours that I've put into caring for it. Another scarecrow. Oh, here we have something that's still cropping. A kale. Curly kale. I have to admit, I can take it or leave it. I do take it, but it's not my favourite. Just going to take another little break and pop along a bit further. How sad. A redundant scarecrow. Still seems to be managing to smile though. But along here we have the fruity bits and the terracotta pots. They are for forcing rhubarb to extend the crop, start it earlier. So they didn't have the benefit of fridges and freezers, but would be able to get the crops lasting. Oh, and there's some rhubarb coming through already there. Oh, rhubarb crumble, yes. And there's some more signs of spring. I hope there's not a big frost that kills it off. So there'll be, I'm not sure what those are at the back. Without the leaves, I'm even worse at identifying plants than I usually am. And all the while, the birds in the woodlands around are a-singing. Gosh, that's going to provide quite a good bit of rhubarb. And I wonder if there's any inside this. Yep, some in there. Tends to grow paler if it's forced. And here we have plenty of onions. I really don't like seeing the plastic in the gardens. Niggle, niggle, niggle. But plenty of onions growing there. And on that note, I will wander from the kitchen garden into the rest of the gardens. See you there and on. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now.